Alrighty, welcome to another episode of the Lockdown Podcast. Continuing to pick apart as we do of Raw and SmackDown. We also have King and Queen of the Ring, and then we also are working our way towards Night of Champions. And I hope that at Night of Champions, it's actually just champions fighting, like it used to be. Because now it's become this PLE that is just like every other PLE when the premise of the PLE is called Night of Champions. And in the past, I think the last time they did it was Night of Champions, I think was maybe 2016, 2017, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And they didn't even have all championship matches. And so it's like if you're going to name it Night of Champions, then it needs to be a Night of Champions. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to call it that. But I digress. So this past week, Raw, we kicked off with Obafemi basically coming out and calling out Dominic Mysterio. Obviously, Dominic comes out and tries to pull a fast one on Obafemi, which did not work out. And Jake tried to hit Obafemi with a chair in like no movement. Like he hit him hard too. Like at least it sounded hard, but like I mean just no movement, and so Obafemi obviously destroys him, obviously. And man, I'm looking forward to seeing Dominic versus Obafemi this week just because it's Obafemi versus Dominic Mysterio, right? Yeah. And I have a good feeling that no matter how much outside interference that the Judgment Day will bring, and that's a prediction, not a spoiler. It's just literally what it's probably going to be. And I still think that Obafemi wins and goes to the finals. But you know, anything can happen. I don't see it making sense to have Brock interrupt in the quarterfinals match more than I would consider it in the finals match. But it took 7 F5s to put down Obafemi. So you better have like all your ducks in a row and every possible thing you could do if whoever ends up on the other side in the finals, they better bring their A game. Because if they're facing off against Obafemi, it's going to take a lot. And honestly, like, I liked, with the Brock and Obafemi match, that it took that much to beat him. Because even though Obafemi took the loss, that's still a win in his book, essentially, because it took 7 F5s from Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And so, like I said, like we've always said, is that sometimes taking an L doesn't always mean you're taking an L. And you can still be put over without winning. So we have one of our qualifier matches for the Queen of the Ring to kick off, and we had Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch, Chelsea Green, and Liv Morgan. And we pretty much could see how this was going to go. Just for whatever reason, because it being Liv's birthday. And I would have preferred anybody but her. And I think the only reason why she's even in this thing is to stir up drama amongst the possibility of, you know, Judgment Day versus Judgment Day in the finals, which I guess is good drama, but it's like it doesn't really make much for believable storylines, I guess. Sure. But I mean, I would have preferred, you know, Chelsea Green, as you know, she's came back recently. I would have preferred Chelsea Green. I mean, Becky Lynch wouldn't be a bad thing to get back in the championship contention, you know, after she's done this whole secondary title stuff for a while. Agreed. And obviously Alexa Bliss, I mean, you just want to see Alexa Bliss do whatever. And so like Liv Morgan was the last person I wanted to win this. And, you know, at the very end of the match, I mean, the match wasn't that long, mind you. They never are. Like, how do you have a fatal 4-way match that lasts just about just a smidge longer than a singles match?
Mhm.
Like, they're not giving these matches any time to cook. It's like you get like 5 to 6 minutes of just like, the individual little fights here and there. And then it's like the last 5 minutes is like a massive dash to the finish to just finish the match. And if you want to make, everyone view women's wrestling different, you need to let them do what they can do. But giving them these lackluster time limits of matches is more degrading to them than it is, trying to celebrate, the fact that they can go long matches, but they're not getting the time to showcase that, because it's like they're getting, I think probably the max I've seen probably in a women's match this year has probably been maybe 15 minutes, maybe. And I think it's like, why aren't you letting them cook a little bit? Like, why can't we get some drama in the match? Why can't we, get a bunch of finishers done and kickouts or whatever else? Just more drama in the matches. Then, like I said, you get half the matches is that, and the other half is like, how do we set up the finish basically? But yeah, I mean, like, what are your guys' thoughts? I mean, like, that they're not really giving women's matches much time.
I totally agree. They need to make some of these women matches last a little longer, show them what they can actually do in the ring. Some of these women can out wrestle half of the fucking dudes on the main rosters.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. It's a shame that they don't give women's matches any time to cook, any time to breathe, and that's unfortunate because the women are just taking what they're given, and that's nowhere near as good for business as it should be.
Well, and I think even with like, I think like the Evolution pay-per-view that the girls have had the last they've had twice now, I think 3 times maybe. But even those, like, they're still not letting them really cook. And I don't know. I don't know what it is that they just, and it's been like this forever. So like, this was the same under Vince. This is the same under Triple H. It's the same under TKO. And like, I think it's kind of a little bit insulting.
Oh, it's not a little bit. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Insulting. Really.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I like, how about go out there and show them what you can do, not go out there and hit 5 spots and then the match is over and then you go about your business.
Yeah.
Now, so our next match we had for the night was Sol Ruca versus Lyra Valkyria, and it was actually for the title. Wow. I know. A match for a title. What we do not see lately. So, but so honestly, like, Sol Ruca, Lyra Valkyria put on a phenomenal match, a clean match, no nonsense match. Those are the matches I like. It's just match, no outside interference, no people on the outside of the ring getting on the ring apron and doing all the stupid shit that they do literally week in and week out. It's just a good straight up match, and obviously Sol ends up taking the victory with a soul snatcher, and I don't think they're gonna honestly go anywhere with her soul snatcher. I think honestly the last couple times I've seen her do it on TV, with the exception of Becky, because Becky is pretty much shit at taking a soul snatcher. But everybody else has been fine.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and I think because obviously Lyra does have a vague history, in NXT and in dealing with the soul snatchers. So I mean, like, some are good at taking it, and some are just awful. And I almost think like I know we talked about how like it just doesn't seem like people are getting it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, is like it's almost basing that mostly off of Becky, and Becky just being out of position. Like it looks bad because literally, like I said before, is that Soul's doing it the same way every time, right? Just because like it's a matter of getting up there, doing the flip, and like everything is very calculated and the same, and it's like basically X marks the spot where they need to be to make it look good. And yeah, I mean, you watched Lyra take it, and she took it fantastic. So, but now, man, this we talked about beforehand about this whole bloodline nonsense, is that we're starting to see what we've seen before, and that's the Usos doing the chirping bidding of Roman Reigns. And Roman
Pretty much.
Roman talked about, oh yeah, I'm gonna be here every week, and I'm gonna this, and I'm gonna that, and for the first like month or so, yeah, but that's because you had a match to build up towards. Now that you don't really have anything till SummerSlam, now we're just gonna get you probably 2 weeks before SummerSlam or something, and maybe the following week, and then SummerSlam, and then win, lose, or draw, we'll see where you go. But, so we get LA Knight, obviously, and, chirping as he does. And then, obviously, Hothead Jey Uso comes out. And, and it's like all you do is the bidding for Roman now. You are right back where you were 3 years ago, doing the same thing. And it's just laughable. Because, like, how many times are they going to, like, I understand repeating, like, storylines or, or basically something that's happened multiple times, right? Like, oh, like they did this a while, like a couple months ago or something with these people, and then now they did it with these people, and like they're far enough apart where it's not like, oh my gosh, I can gather that they just did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we had to deal with 4 years of Bloodline, in 4 years of Jimmy and Jay playing essentially the lapdogs, the watchdogs, the barkers of Roman Reigns. And like what, and so like I just don't get it why we're going right back to that. He said it would be different. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not different. It is the same damn thing. Because what if Jay went after Roman again? Hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it.
And maybe Jimmy and Jay are they're just lugging along to eventually break down Roman. Big long shot. But like, wouldn't that be a twist that no one could have predicted, that maybe Jimmy and Jay are laying dormant and until they get what they want? I mean, I don't think it's probable, but it's possible. But it just seems like they're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
you got Jacob being in the group as the solo of the group.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I am. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It really doesn't.
No.
But and what's funny too is that like we've pretty much lost the brand split. like they've just quietly just tore up the brand split contract, because it's just like everybody goes wherever they want. Cody goes wherever he wants and does his same spiel. Roman goes whatever he wants and does his spiel. I mean, and it's by brand split.
Yeah.
So our next match we got was an Intercontinental Championship match between Penta and Rey Mysterio. And man, Dream Match is putting it lightly. Like, just two absolute superstars, luchador wrestling, like, at its finest. I mean, and Penta's not as young as people think he is. So, like, you know, like, these guys have been doing it for a really, really, really long time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was a great start to finish match. It had everything you thought it would have. But Penta continues to, you know, hold the title and obviously wins against Rey Mysterio and continues his reign, which I think, actually, you know what? I know that Penta is the only really true defending champion right now. And I say that because we have 11 championships essentially for the whole show. So the men's side of stuff, the women's side of the stuff, the men's tag teams, the women's tag team. So we have 11 different championships. And 5 or 6 have just been dormant. And it's like, you have that much and you literally are doing very little. I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense to me that you are just letting these champions walk around like they're dominant and they've done nothing of the sort. And, you know, this goes back to, you know, the Jade Cargill when she had the title for really long and she would come out and chirp and she would, you know, and I, you know, play the heel character and, you know, I'll only wrestle on my terms stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you didn't defend it for like 3 months or something. I mean, like, the gimmick only goes so far as till leading into a legitimate match.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's just chirp, 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 and nothing comes of it, and then you literally, I think she had one defense, but it was a very weak title defense. And then the next time she has a defense, she loses. And so, like, I don't want to, I want to see these guys put on their titles and win and win and win and then have a loss or something. But it's like they're just holding the title hostage, you know. I mean, not to the extent of Roman Reigns, but we're getting there because, you know, people are holding these titles for multiple months without anything done. And it's Vince would literally be screaming his head off right now. And honestly, can you bring back Vince? Hashtag bring back Vince, because the brand and the company we have now is absolute shit.
Yeah, TKO sucks.
TKO is totally killing the WWE brand. And I'm even hearing, and I don't really watch UFC, but I'm hearing a pretty good reciprocating mentality in UFC. Like, UFC is not really what it used to be. It feels like
I was gonna say a lot of UFC fighters are slowly leaving because of the TKO. Because Ronda Rousey won't ever go back. She's already made it clear because the way TKO is. A lot of the big names pretty much packed their bags and left. They don't want to put up with TKO because they're doing the same bull crap that they're doing with WWE.
Yeah, and I heard something. I don't know if you guys caught the interview by Karrion Kross. I think I sent it in the group chat, but like, just lit WWE up in flames.
Yeah, I seen
because he literally said something that absolutely makes sense. He said, if you get over authentically, they don't like that.
Yep.
And they will drop you down and eventually get rid of you. And now looking back, look at all the releases and where they were at, and then they just get completely dropped off and released. And it's like, oh, so you don't basically, you're not going to cheer for the people that we want you to cheer for, but you have something, because Karrion Kross was outselling merch by the top stars.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so like, either way you're making money, so why are you bitching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so basically, yeah. So that, and Karrion Kross has not held back from being very, very blunt.
Yeah, as I say,
About
he's very blunt. He was very blunt when he was in WWE. He pretty much ripped WWE a new asshole plenty of times. He does not hold back, him or his wife.
No, and I just think it's ridiculous that they're releasing people that are over. And I get that, the thing is, and I don't buy that they want younger talent, because most of the champions are over 40. So like, you can't say you're looking to have a new era of younger talent, or what Triple H was always say, we're in a new era. No, we're not. Like, I mean, I will watch WWE because I'm a fan, but I will also critique it because I'm a fan.
Right.
Same here.
Yep.
And, and I just think that, we've been getting lackluster product where they're more concerned about this is a quote from somebody, but I don't know who it was from, but they said they're more concerned about entertainment than professional wrestling. And you look at other companies, whether it's TNA or, or AEW or Ring of Honor, they're more concerned about wrestling than entertainment. And you look at the difference between someone trying to be entertaining and someone that's really want to let, matches go and let them showcase their talent. Because look at AAA versus WWE.
Triple A's on fire.
You watch AAA, dude. It is nonstop. These guys, I watched a guy literally walk a rope from one corner to the other, just on the rope, just walked across to jump from that rope across to the other rope, do a flip. You ain't gonna see that shit in WWE unless it's Javon Evans, and that's about it. I mean, you don't see the quality.
You can see it with some of the lucha wrestlers in WWE, but not often.
Yeah, I mean, and then so like someone's, I seen that quote and I was like, dude, that makes so much sense. And they don't make the shows spectacles. And to that jack off on freaking TikTok that I swear is paid by WWE every week saying it's must see, bullshit. It's not must see. Like, you act like Raw and Smack, he does the videos all the time, and he's in my algorithm, and I literally talk shit to him all the time. I hope he sees this, but like, you're like some bogus hype man, okay? You're no Jimmy Hart, okay? Like, you don't hype everybody thinking that every show, and it's every week too. It's every week, every time. The video is always there. He's always making videos for hype, and it's like, he must be getting a check, because the fans, like, it's way cooler to see a show like in-house than seeing it at home, right? When you're in the arena and the events, if it's the feel of it's way different, right? Because you're basically at a watch party basically, and you're watching it live, and it's different, right? But then it's like we sit at home and we get subjected to commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial. Like, it's out of hand. Like, I think I said it to you guys, but like, I think I said it in the group text, like, I think it was for Raw or SmackDown, but like, I was like, they were 3 minutes into the show. 3 minutes. Like, the show kicked off, Michael Cole and whatever said their spiel, and then they literally spent more time on their entrances than they did in the match before they did commercial. Like, you have enough advertisements, dude. You don't need more commercials. One, because you're on Netflix, you're not on a standard branding of television, but yet you still just fill us with the same, like, it's like 4 commercials an hour. And it's like I said, it's more about entertainment than wrestling, because we barely get to see wrestling when we're sitting at home, because here comes a commercial and then a commercial, and it's like there's like 2 commercials in between some of these matches, and I'm just like, why? Like,
it's hard to watch, and it's hard to watch replays. The product is just it's in a weird state, and I don't know if I really like it like this. I mean, the Vince era wasn't amazing towards the end.
but they didn't overhype it though.
It's just been a challenging product as of late, and it's hard to watch.
I agree.
Yeah. So back to Raw, but so we had our last fatal 4-way match on the men's side, and we had Seth Rollins versus Ricky Sainz, Tala Tonga, and Javon Evans. And the match, honestly, with the exception of the cliche interference by Braun Breaker, but like other than that, honestly, the match was honestly pretty solid. Honestly, like I take nothing away from them wanting to push Javon Evans. I think he's definitely a generational talent. Him being as young as he is and being as amazing in the ring as he is, like, says a lot. And, he's put in the work. I mean, he buzzsawed through freaking NXT and got to the main roster faster than probably, with the exception of maybe Solo, but that was because it was bloodline related. But like, I don't think there's a lot that cruised through, NXT like Javon Evans did. And he's literally 22, I think, 21, 22. And he looks like a seasoned veteran. So I definitely look forward to seeing, how the quarterfinals play out. So I'm looking forward to, again, seeing what Javon Evans will do in the quarterfinals. So SmackDown obviously kicked off with the last of the fatal 4-way for the women's qualifier between Sol Ruca, Lyra Valkyria, Jade Cargill, and Charlotte Flair. And the outside interference was just kind of normal and to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like someone ran down or someone came from hiding. It just was what it was. But I mean, honestly, a good match. I mean, not going to take away from any of it. Obviously, I'm pretty happy that Charlotte Flair won this, being just because I want her kind of to start getting back into her singles stuff, not, the tag team stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was fun. It ran its course. And, I definitely think we should be, moving forward with her. Just because we're exhausted with the current booking of, the championship picture right now.
Right.
And so it's kind of, it needs a refresher. And I think, and that wasn't bad that Charlotte went and did some tag stuff. I think it was more of like a good break for her. Had some fun with Alexa, and obviously probably still will, but like, and let some other people shine, and that's fine. That's all well and good. But, I want to get back to my top stars. So Charlotte Flair goes to the quarterfinals. So this should, be interesting. So looking forward to that. Now, the next match we had was, how do I put it sensitively? Oh, man. A non-title match. We'll just go with that. Between Brie Bella and Paige, the champions, versus Fallon Henley and Laney Reed. And a non-title match. Does not make sense. One, because you're barely wrestling as is. And two, there's no stakes. Because they've had plenty of times where wrestlers have beat the champion and never got a title shot. So what Brie Bella and Paige could just lose for S&Gs and it wouldn't matter.
Oh, I agree.
And it's just like, I feel like there's literally one women's tag team championship, right? It's just the one that covers technically 3 brands. And then we barely see it. And then when we do see it, it's a non-title match. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, like, whatsoever, that the bottom of, I'm not going to say bottom, but like the bottom of the women's championships, right? The women's tag team championships. Again, they're supposed to be 3 branded. And I hate that they took them away from NXT for one. And so, like, now we have 2 champions, or well, 2 people with 1 championship basically, and not defending it across any other brand besides just scattered matches here and there. Like, the women's tag team match has literally become less entertaining than the 24/7 championship. And like, I just don't get it.
I just don't care for the women's tag team championship matches anymore. They just got boring.
Well, and again, they don't give them time to cook.
No,
They don't. And it's like, and the thing is that the average, like the casual fan, right? Like the person that might watch it, you know, they might be 3 or 4 weeks behind or something. That kind of casual fan, like, they're just like, oh yeah, man, I don't know why they're not giving them longer matches. And it's just like, you're not the only one, dude. Like, I don't get it. And it's like, why you're not defending your titles every time. Like, I feel like, honestly, if every match was for a title, it would make everything way more freaking entertaining. And if you even go back to like the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, it was like they had championship matches just on Raw, SmackDown. Like, it didn't have to be a PLE to have any championship defended. And now we're to the point where it's like the main titles pretty much PLE only, with the exception of a couple squash matches. But like, so the top ones have basically become PLE only. And then you have the secondary titles that are supposed to be workhorse titles, and those are barely defended. And it's just, I don't know what you guys need to fix, but I mean, I do know what you need to get fixed, but like, yeah, it's
really
definitely,
I don't know how the product is going to get better under the regime that we have. I don't know if it's TKO down or they're just being limited for whatever reason, or they're just thinking that this works with what the fan base is talking about or wanting to have. So yeah, I don't know what's causing this definite shift, but we do remember how hot WWE started out under Triple H, and it was really, really good, very interesting. And now it
just dropped.
Like,
because all of a sudden we're like Triple H, and all of a sudden he's like listening to the fans, and the whole "We Want Cody" movement and stuff like that. Like, and everything changed. We're like, oh man, he's listening, and then all of a sudden now it's like he don't give a shit. He's not really involved really in creative. It's basically to the point where I feel like they're asking AI to basically, how should we do our show?
Yeah.
What I want to see, I want to see more Danhausen. Okay, give me a 30-minute segment with Danhausen and R-Truth doing a talk show. Okay, like, give these guys a platform. And honestly, it was absolutely hilarious to see, like, because Miz got electrocuted or whatever, and so like he's in the back, he's got the Zack Ryder woo woo hair going,
Yeah.
and he's just like talking all crazy and everything, and then you got Kit Wilson coming back, and then Kit Wilson hits one of his Danhausen's machine and gets electrocuted. It's sad that this is the part that I'm actually entertained by versus pretty much the majority of the show. Like 5 minutes with Danhausen, and I'm like, you know what? The rest of the show, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to what they're doing with Danhausen, because I feel like every week is something different. And yeah, so now we get over to the Sami Zayn comes out, and with his new shirt called, basically says the last real good guy. And he gets into it with Cody, and honestly, like, I'm in agreement with pretty much what Sami Zayn was saying. We're all over Cody. Like, he's like, he should have lost it to Randy Orton. We shouldn't even be in the position we're in now. Like, we should be in a whole different situation. But I think Randy's dropped to like part-time probably. But a lot of what Sammy was saying was absolute truth. And yeah, I mean, the slap and then the slap back, I thought that was a little bit soft. I feel like Sami Zayn could have haluva kicked him or something, and I would have been more entertained by that than rather two grown men slapping each other. But
Yeah, I think we need to stop with the slapping. That's just my personal. This is my personal take. We just need to stop with the slapping. If you can slap somebody, you can punch somebody. Give me a punch.
yeah, I mean, just wait for him to go.
Yeah.
Slap hands. So we'll just move on from Slappy McGee over here. But so we had Rey Fenix face off against Axiom in a AAA Cruiserweight title match. And man, this is what doesn't disappoint. But yeah, I mean, Rey Fenix does end up getting the win. But again, like, this was super entertaining of a match. I mean, what these guys can do, just even just the ropes, not even like the jumping or anything else, but like just some of the crap they do, like off the rope and stuff, like is just wild to me. And so again, a nice, good quality match, and no tomfoolery, just straight up wrestling. And I was good with Rey Fenix winning. Honestly, it was really good start to finish. Now the week prior, we basically got Gunther basically saying he was going to have a stipulation, and so, but he said he'll have to let them know the following week, which was this past week. And obviously, earlier in the night, he basically said, "I'll let you know by the end of the night." And so we get to that segment, and so we get Nick Aldis and Gunther in the back, and Gunther, man, he led into this like super well, and basically says, he's like, "I want to pick the referee, and I don't trust any of yours." And he's like, "I want a good guy, like the last real good guy."
Like John Cena.
And so we're going to see Sami Zayn as the ref for this match. And I think Sami is going to screw Cody Rhodes. And I only say this is because he's beat Gunther. Gunther's beatable to Sami Zayn. And so I think this leads us down the path, to Sami Zayn versus Gunther, and Sami Zayn wins. That's just my thought process.
I can see it.
Because, Sammy did beat Gunther after having the 600+ day Intercontinental Championship run
at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And so he's beatable. So, I think the quick way to the championship is not through Cody Rhodes, but through Gunther. So, and I think this would definitely be a down the road match. Probably beyond SummerSlam. I'm thinking this is like, October, November PLE level. But I'd like to see Sami as champ. I think, Cody chirps about finishing his story, and I'm like, well, Sami Zayn has the same thing. So like, why do you think because why do you think you're so special? Because it's something your dad didn't win, and you were trying to. And I get it. That was cool. That was a cool moment. But it's like that's all your moment was about. Your moment of being champion was about your dad, not you. And for Sami, it's about Sami being champion for Sami, not for anybody but else but himself, and to prove himself. And so, like, I still think Sami Zayn is a long-term had a better wrestling career than Cody Rhodes, just because he's always been viewed as the underdog. Even in his tenure, he's always considered the underdog. So when he's winning Intercontinental, winning United States, winning tag teams, like, he has to work harder than Cody, who is the golden boy, who really, with the exception of a Cody Cutter in the Crossroads, his moveset is really not that exciting, right? His big moves are exciting, but everything else is not really all that good. This, the bionic elbow, guess what? That's your dad's move, not your move, right? And so, and doing all the, like, that's your dad stuff. So you're just mimicking your dad. You don't have anything that's really in your repertoire that stands out. But I digress, because you know me. Mm-hmm. Now we get Trick Williams and Lil Yachty coming out and, chirping as they do. Obviously, they chirped long enough to first Ricky Saints and then Carmelo Hayes, and they need to do something with this. Like, I don't want to see this chirp and no match. Like, these guys need to have a 3-way for the title and get it over with. And if Trick wins, well, then Trick moves on.
Yep.
But it's like, if we're going to keep on running back the same Trick, Carmelo, and Ricky Saints stuff, like, it's just recycled every week. Like, cool, you guys want to talk about who's going to face off against him and who's this? I'm like, dude, just, like, why can't they just pull the trigger on a match and just say, Nick Aldis come out and be like, hey, well, since you all want to fight, triple threat, SummerSlam, boom, here we go. Let's solve the problem. But no, we just pussyfoot around about actually creating actual matches when you have actually compelling storylines. Like, Trick has storylines because Trick has history with Carmelo Hayes. He has a little bit of history with Ricky Saints, and so, like, there's history to this match, so pull the trigger, make the match. But this is the stuff that's stupid about WWE, is when they have something cooking like this, and this is a match in the making, because this is essentially 3 NXT stars getting to the main roster, and Trick's the champion, but they want some of that gold too. And obviously, Carmelo had the United States, obviously, but like, Ricky Saints is essentially the more up and coming, but even though he's been with wrestling forever, but like, and so there's just something here, and they need to let it go, let them make the match. Like, why is it so hard? Nick Aldis comes out. This is what we're gonna have. All right, cool. So we get a match that was kind of made last minute, we'll say. Tiffany Stratton wasn't back, and Beechin and Mefab I just said that backwards. BFAB and Meechin, not Mefab and Beechin, but I guess it works both ways. But and then obviously Chelsea Green obviously thwarts off them trying to do anything to Tiffany Stratton, which obviously leads us into a match just like anything else. But I don't know. So like after the match, Jade Cargill obviously gives a jaded to Tiffany Stratton. And it's like, it's so confusing, like how far down the pipeline she went after losing her title. Like Jade loses the women's championship and then instantly drifted into secondary mid-card matches. I don't hate it. I Jade Cargill's come a long way. And so like I don't think her going for a secondary title, which is what it honestly seems to be, like this is the trope of all tropes in WWE. Like you don't have to be stupid to figure out what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we get Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill at some point. And again, I'm not mad at it. I'm okay with it. I think that plenty of women and men have gone from being the champion and losing it and going down to the lower tier. It's not out of the norm. So now we get to the main event of the night, and we had LA Knight, Finn Balor, Royce Keys, and Jey Uso in a fatal 4-way for the last spot in the King of the Ring tournament. And, really didn't disappoint. I would have probably liked to see someone else win, but so Jey Uso gets the win. Obviously, no surprise. But so now, our King of the Ring quarterfinals are Oba Femi versus Dominic Mysterio, and we have Javon Evans versus Jey Uso. And then on the women's side, we have Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. And then we have Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez. And the thing I want to point out before we just kind of talk any more about it is the fact that there's one SmackDown competitor in the quarterfinals. What? Like, I don't understand. This is, again, I'm really confused by the fact that, everybody's on Raw except for Charlotte.
Yep.
And it's like, what are we doing? Like, I get it because they have storylines within the tournament, and I get that. But it's like, man, Raw just made a full sweep of the King of the Ring tournament or Queen of the Ring. I guess King of the Ring. They basically, all of them Raw. And the women's side, all but one. So,
which is insane,
Yeah, it's definitely a conundrum, but so between Oba Femi and Dominic Mysterio, who do you got and why? And I feel like we pretty much all have a universal answer to this, but love to pick your brains. So
I'm going for Oba Fev.
Yeah, Femi's got I think the bigger story at SummerSlam with Brock Lesnar getting that rubber band match. So yeah, it's Oba Femi. It should be a fun match where Mysterio kind of gets beat down a little bit. There's some shenanigans, but outside of that, no. Yeah, it's Femi all the way.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I think that is the wildest take that they could have done.
Yeah,
would
because
be the biggest win Rey Mysterio has ever had. Dominic Mysterio, I meant.
Yeah. What's really funny though is the fact that you have Mysterio out there calling Oba Femi a rookie. And I'm like, oh man, are you trying to get killed? Because like,
Yeah.
like,
It's
he's gonna
also,
throw.
I mean, it's also true. It's not like it's
It's
not
not
true, but
true.
it is like the weirdest flex that you can do
Well,
with someone
You
who
have to
literally
understand.
can eat you. You
but
know.
Obi Femi is
Mysterio.
going to show him who his daddy is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, but like Femi had to go through like all the transitions to get the main roster versus Mysterio that kind of got the pass. So, I mean, to a certain extent, they're probably on the same level as far as experience.
Probably.
But I honestly, I don't think this will happen, but this would be honestly the funniest thing. It'd be like the throw of the century, but I want to see Oba Femi throw Dominic from like the middle of the ring to like the ring announcer, just lawn dart him.
Yeah, there's gonna be some really like, what did I just watch spots in that match.
Yeah. So now, what about Javon Evans and Jey Uso?
It's most likely I could see Jay winning it.
I think it's gonna be Jay. Unfortunately for Javon, um, yeah, I think it'll be Jay because the way that they're booking. Now, I think you have mentioned Seth like before we got started. Javon winning it outright is like your secret or ghost pick or dark horse pick. Um, that would be fun. I think that would be fun to see Javon Evans as King of the Ring tournament and being the winner. So somehow him getting past Jay and the Bloodline is a tall task for anybody. Um, but if it does happen,
But I love the optimism, like I because it's like, I mean, you sometimes you get wrapped around like in the obvious pick versus what could happen. I mean, look what Javon Evans had to combat against. He had Ricky Sainz, Talatonga, and Seth Rollins, and obviously with the Vision and stuff. But I'm like, the Vision could have attacked him too, and so I mean, and I think it was a conundrum of a match, but now he's going to have a straight up match against main event Jey Uso, and I think this is definitely, if he wins this is really catapulting his career.
Yeah.
And again, he has a lot of years to give. So like, I think that without a doubt, Javon Evans is a future champion within the next 2 years. I think that he's shown his work ethic, his match quality, and just his overall work ethic. I mean, you again look at a 21, 22-year-old and look what he's accomplished already. So, he's my ghost pick, but I feel like, however it plays out, I mean, he's been good. He's been getting, a lot of push. So, this is just more push for him. And win, lose, or draw, this is still elevating his career because he, again, is so young. So like, he has plenty of time to do whatever as far as championships, So, but the fact that he's in the title picture is again a push, So now down to the women, and Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. Now, before you guys give your picks, is that this, man, it can kind of get played either way. Because if you have Liv Morgan win and you have Raquel Rodriguez win, you have a great story. If you have Charlotte Flair and Raquel Rodriguez, you still have a good story. if you have Charlotte versus Io Sky, you still have a story. But my ghost pick, honestly, between Liv Morgan, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Raquel Rodriguez, is I honestly want man, any of these four can be good against Liv, and so and I don't know if they.
I'm sorry. Liv Morgan is not my favorite performer.
No.
So I think the more interesting story is Morgan versus Rodriguez, right? I think the better match is Flair and Io Sky. So for me, it just depends. But I gotta have Raquel Rodriguez coming away with a championship, not just Queen of the Ring title. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
agree.
yeah.
but now I was just thinking though, is that if Jay wins and he's allowed to pick which champion he fights,
Mhm.
then does that mean that if Raquel won, she could choose who she wanted to fight?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like, if Raquel goes against Liv Morgan, does her beating Liv Morgan in the finals, does that mean she wants to go back after her title, or does she just shows that she can beat her and then she goes after the other title?
No,
But it's just there's a lot of looming questions. Is kind of what I'm gathering, is that there's a lot of scenarios at hand. But yeah, I mean, and I believe they have the because Night of Champions is 2 weeks away, so I think this week they should have the at least one of each of the quarterfinals matches.
They should.
I think they'll probably have a men's and a women's match on each show, probably. And that way then you have a week to build whoever's facing off against whoever.
Mhm.
That would be ideal, but you know how WWE operates. So,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of scenarios that can play out right now in regards to King and Queen of the Ring. But, as we do, we will put a pin in this. And, we'll definitely see what happens, tomorrow, Friday. And, we'll be back next week to break down our thoughts. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.